Thanks for tuning in, guys. And today we are talking about slimming and shredding, and we're really lucky to have Robbie Frame here. Robbie Frame is Robbie, you're a leading Australian EHP Labs athlete, and you've also got your pro card, which is awesome. And I know that you've got your own online training platform. We're extremely passionate about helping people on their fitness journey, so I don't reckon we could be talking to a better person today. So thanks for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. So we'll just get straight into it. I guess one of the first questions I'd love to ask is, what's your secret to getting ripped or shredded?
I think, the secret per se, or the secret for anyone really, whilst it's all well and good training in the gym,
yep.
The fundamental foundation of your progress and results will come down to nutrition.
Yep.
So I think that my secret has been dietary compliance, and essentially what I mean by that is being as consistent as possible with my diet,
yep.
And making sure that my diet is in line with my training goals. So, shredding down, one of the key things that I make sure I'm doing, I'm in a calorie deficit. I'm selecting nutritious foods,
yep.
that fit within my macronutritional requirements.
Yep.
And I think doing that as consistently as possible, day in and day out, it's that consistency over the long term that gets great results.
Cool. So, okay, so on that, are there three key things that would that people could sort of do to be able to slim down or shred?
I think when I go through a stage where I'm looking to shred down, what I'll do is, first and foremost, I set myself goals.
Yep.
I try to make sure that they're specific, measurable, attainable, they're relevant to me and what I'm wanting to achieve, and they're time sensitive, so they're smart goals. And one of the things that I'll do is I'll potentially say, in 12 weeks time, I want to lose 6 kilos,
yep.
At a rate of half a kilo a week. So
Yep.
I've given myself a time frame, and I've been really specific in terms of the numbers that I want to see. If I can quantify things, I can set those goals, and then I can track them easily. Then from there, in terms of making sure that I'm successful,
yep.
I'd say the two other things are consistency with my diet, which I've already touched on, but then also consistency with my training. And you can see that one of the key terms which we're hearing a lot now is consistency.
Yep.
I think too often people are looking for that quick fix, and they've got very short-term thinking. As a consequence, if you try to look for that quick fix, your likelihood of success will be limited,
yep.
compared to if you're invested in a lifestyle change, if you're looking at a long-term approach.
Yep.
So I guess that's another key thing with success when it comes to shredding down or getting leaner is not being in it for the quick fix,
yep.
being in it for the lifestyle change.
Yep. Okay, cool. And with all of that, is it different for guys as to girls, or is it fairly similar?
No. I mean, I think there's a common misconception that the way in which a guy gets shredded versus
yep.
the way in which a girl gets toned, there seems to be a misconception that they're mutually exclusive.
Yes.
What applies to both a male applies to a female.
Yep.
I think both males and females can benefit from doing resistance training. The more lean muscle mass you have on your body, the better in terms of burning body fat.
Right.
And for both males and females, I'm a huge advocate of their training program, including resistance training,
yep.
Coupled with a balance of cardiovascular training as well, in order to drop body fat.
Combination of both.
Combination of both, getting that balance will certainly reap the results thereafter.
Okay. So on the training, what is your training schedule or regime look like?
I train about 5 to 6 days a week.
Yeah.
The foundation of my training program revolves around resistance training.
Yeah.
I would say that it's heavily influenced through powerlifting.
Yeah.
I am a huge advocate of 4 key lifts: squat, bench press, overhead press, and deadlifts.
Yeah.
I think that those 4 exercises should form the foundation of everyone's program, whether you're male or female.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of resistance training. When I'm dieting down, when I want to lose that little bit of extra body fat, I will include cardio training,
Yep.
And that will usually happen at the end of my resistance training component. But that's essentially my training split. Very heavily focused on weights, but does include cardio when and if required.
Yeah, cool. So you're training 5 or 6 days a week, but for a regular everyday person trying to achieve these sorts of goals, sometimes that's not possible. What's realistic? Like if you're training, your diet's right, you know, you're doing everything correctly, and you know, is 3 or 4 days acceptable?
Yeah, three or 4 days is definitely acceptable. What I'm conscious of with my clients is that fitness is my life, but it's not my client's life. It's a facet of their life.
Yes.
It's something that should be inclusive and beneficial to their lifestyle, and it shouldn't be a debilitating burden which detracts from their lifestyle. I think too often it can be viewed as a chore. Consequently, you know, you need to work within your means, and if you can only attend the gym 3 to 4 times per week, that's completely fine. But let's make the most efficient use of that time in the time frame given. You know, sometimes I train from anywhere from 1 hour to an hour and a half, but I appreciate that not everyone can do that. Consequently, you know, if you need to only be in the gym for half an hour to 45 minutes or less, then let's work within our means and probably do circuit training, resistance training involving supersets and trisets, where you do one exercise after the other with minimal rest. You know, you shouldn't feel as though it's a debilitating burden if you can't make it 5 to 6 days a week. Make use of your time, and design a training program that, you know, makes efficient use of your time so you can get the best results possible for you.
So on that, like if I was listening to this and I was trying to get into the right type of training to be able to get some good results, I think there's a lot of information out there online. Where would you be better off talking to an individual or an expert initially to get you started, to head you off in the right track?
If you're struggling for a sense of direction and you're not quite sure where to start off with, investing in a personal trainer can certainly help. Whether it's a personal trainer or an online coach, someone who can provide you with a sense of direction and an understanding of what are the necessary requirements, both from a diet perspective and a training perspective, in order to get the best results possible for you. That initial investment can kickstart you off in the right direction. You know, it's one of those things where you probably don't need to invest on a consistent basis after that, but you know, you want to have a sense of direction at the outset, so that you can put the right foot forward. So I would definitely recommend doing that. You know, seeking out the guidance and counsel from someone who's a qualified personal trainer, because what you'll learn from them is essentially what they've learned through their wealth of experience, both as a trainee and a trainer.
Gotcha. So set the foundations and then go from there. You might need somebody ongoing. You might pick it all up and be able to manage it yourself going forwards. That's cool. So on the training, if you're a regular everyday person and you just want to essentially burn fat and build lean muscle, which is I guess where you're going with this, what would be some simple things for people to follow if you were just getting into it? In the gym.
I think, look, if you've got 1 hour to work with, or even less, let's look at, say, a 50-50 split, or a 50 to 75% of your time should be spent doing weights, doing resistance training, and that goes for both males and females. Doing a resistance training component, and then I would be an advocate of at least 50% or 25% of your time spent in the gym doing some form of cardiovascular training. That can come in the form of low intensity steady state running, for instance, but something which I think is of most benefit to people, especially those that are time poor and want to make use of their time efficiently, is certainly high intensity interval training, or HIIT. And that's essentially looking at waves and flows of intensity in terms of their training, going through a period of jogging, followed by a 30-second sprint, through another interval of a slow and steady pace before following up with an increase in intensity. I find that personally for me, that is my personal preference or choice for cardio. Interval training is something that I would definitely recommend for both males and females if their goal is to shred body fat.
it seems to be a bit of a craze at the moment. A lot of people are talking about the high intensity stuff and also getting into the group class, as well as the personal training side of things, one-on-one. A lot of the group classes, people feel really comfortable in those environments.
Yeah, and gyms are like, there is a reason why a lot of PT studios are coming out where the major push is through group training. You develop a sense of community. You're not on your own in that regard. So it has that team environment, team element, and a lot of those personal training studios or the gyms that are pushing these group programs, a lot of the programs revolve around a combination of both resistance and cardiovascular training.
Nice.
And it's very high intensity, 5 or 6 exercises, one after the other, followed by a 2-minute rest period, and then you go again.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. All right, so with regards to supplements, do you take them?
Yes, yeah.
And so talk us through what you take and why you take it. And I guess if you can, try and relate it to everyday people so they can understand the benefits, if there are.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, before I train, I'll usually have 1 to 2 scoops of OxyShred. And the main reason I take OxyShred is more to give me sort of a boost of energy, especially when my day starts off at 4:30 in the morning. So by the time it comes around to the afternoon, I need a bit of a caffeine hit. Just caffeine's been proven to be a great performance enhancer. So when I step foot inside the gym, I want to be able to be mentally focused and physically prepared. So OxyShred, 1 to 2 scoops. During my workout, I'll have some branched chain amino acids, about 1 scoop of BCAAs, and the reason I would take branched chain amino acids is it's protein broken down into its simplest form, and it enters the bloodstream as quickly as possible, which is essential when I'm in the middle of a workout and I need to recover between arduous sets of deadlifts or squats. Sipping on BCAAs can help with muscle recovery and repair. And it's one of those supplements which you don't just need to have during a workout, you can also have it post-workout, after your training, and the main fundamental reason is because, you know, it's all well and good what we do in the gym, but it's what we do outside of the gym which leads to results. What we do in the gym is merely the catalyst for growth. It's what we do outside of the gym in terms of muscle growth and repair, which can come in the form of, first and foremost, food, but supplementation can certainly help enhance that recovery process, especially if you're training day in and day out. So BCAAs are an excellent supplement if you're feeling sore or run down. They can help with that recovery process. And
what about afterwards? So you finish training, what happens?
Well, like I just mentioned, BCAAs is one particular supplement that I would take post-workout, but another thing that you can take is whey protein, which has been scientifically proven to help aid in muscle growth, repair and recovery. One of the things also with whey protein is it's an excellent convenience food. So if you're not capable of getting a meal in throughout the day, and you do need that hit of protein to help with that muscle recovery repair process, a whey protein supplement can be an excellent time efficient source of protein for your diet. I think, you know, especially with people being so time poor, they'll go to the gym in the morning and then they're going to rush off to work, and they don't get an opportunity to have breakfast if they haven't had breakfast before they train. So rather than starve yourself right up until lunch, or as a mid-morning snack or immediately following your workout, having a whey protein supplement can certainly help. And I mean, it's extremely convenient. You just take 1 scoop, put some water in, and away you go. Okay,
cool. That's good to know. So you're going pre-workout essentially. BCAAs during, and then a protein after. As a
trifecta.
As a
Trifecta around your workout, pre, intra, and post-workout.
Okay, that's good to know. And then I should have mentioned it earlier, but I was going to ask you when you're talking about food and what have you. Like, you were talking to me before we actually started filming about consistency and about being able to, an 80-20 split with food, being able to sort of be relaxed around your diet a little bit so it's not 100% strict and stringent all the time. What are your views on that?
Well, I think, look, we're coming to the end of January right now, and you know, statistics show that at this stage of the game, 50% of people who made a New Year's resolution at the start of the year have now broken it. And I think one of the fundamental reasons why they have broken their resolution is because they're approaching both their training and their diet with this all or nothing approach. And what I mean by that is too often we have this common misconception that we need to be so meticulously perfect with our diet. It needs to always come from, micronutrient dense, clean foods, that we feel as though we need to restrict ourselves from the foods that we actually love and enjoy in order to get results. And the reality is that's not actually the case. Studies from leading nutrition specialists and scientists have actually shown that the main fundamental things that you need to look at are calories and macros. And you can enjoy your favorite foods, whether they're deemed junk or not, in moderation and appropriate portion control. So I think one of the key things that I would say to those that are starting a weight loss diet or a weight loss program is don't feel restricted or bound to eat only good foods. In order to get sustainable long-term results, long-lasting results, I'm a huge advocate of exercising flexibility with your food choices, because if you exercise flexibility with your food choices, appropriate portion control of course, that will lead to long-term sustainability with your diet. Because the last thing that we can afford is to start a diet and then go through this never-ending cycle of restriction, binge, fall off the wagon, and then I'll start again next year. Greater flexibility leads to long-term sustainability.
So take it easy on yourself and just be consistent.
Consistency over perfection. You might fall off the rails from time to time, I can assure you, whilst fitness is my life, it's my profession, from time to time I fall off the wagon with my diet. Nobody's perfect, but I don't strive for perfection, I strive for consistency. And I think the more consistent you can be with your diet over the long term and realize if you fall off the rails on a weekend, just get back on the bike and keep on going. Too often people throw the baby out with the bathwater, and as soon as they fall off the rails, they view this as they've got a perfectionist mindset, and it's sort of like as soon as I'm done with my diet, I've fallen off the wagon with my diet,
I'm finished.
Well, it's like I've fallen off the rails, I might as well roll down the hill too. I'm just a huge advocate of everyone falls off from time to time. Even those that make fitness their life, fall off the wagon from time to time, just get back on the horse and keep riding.
Okay. So have you got a cheat meal?
Donuts time. Donuts for sure. Look, if calories didn't matter, donuts.
That's cool. All right, so are there any sort of final tips you can give anyone who's sort of heading along this journey?
I think anyone who is wanting to kickstart their health journey, lose weight, key things that I would be recommending: set specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-sensitive goals. Smart goals to start off with. And I think if you invest in a personal trainer or a coach to guide you over those initial steps, what they will be able to do for you is provide you with realistic goals which you can then kick. Too often I think we have romanticized notions about the sort of results that we can get in a short period of time. And as a result, we're willing to do drastic measures. We're willing to do drastic dieting in order to get that unrealistic result. I think it's really important to set measurable but attainable goals. If people aren't willing to reach those or can't reach those attainable goals, they feel disappointed or despondent. Again, when they fall off the rails, they roll down the hill. So I think setting specific measurable goals that are applicable to you, realistic for you to achieve is the first thing. And then from there, have that consistency over perfection mindset with both your training and your nutrition. Too often we find ourselves in a position where we're looking for that perfect program. We're looking for that perfect diet in order to get that perfect result. Life isn't perfect. People aren't perfect. So as a result, if there's one thing that I've learned in my 7 years of experience in the fitness industry as a trainer, it's that consistency over the long term will produce outstanding results.
Okay, great. Oh mate, thanks very much for coming and having a chat.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Cheers.